Hello again. Jared Case, curator of film exhibitions at the Dryden Theater and at the George Eastman Museum, here with another streaming recommendation. Now, yesterday I told you about my favorite film from 2019. It's time to take a step back and look at 2018 and my favorite film from that year. Now, this is hopefully the one time that I'm going to ask you, instead of using a streaming service where you have a subscription and the films are available through that you go and rent this film. It's only available through rental in two places, Vudu, V-U-D-U, and iTunes. It's available on both of those platforms, either as the website or as an app. It's a film called In the Last Days of the City, an Egyptian film that was touring around the United States in 2018, although it had its first premieres at festivals in 2017. It's directed by a filmmaker named Tamer El Said. This is his first feature-length film. He had done some shorts before this. But it's a film essentially about himself. Both he is playing the central character, Khalid, and he has several of his filmmaking friends that make appearances in the film as well. It's about Khalid, a character in late 2009, early 2010, that is going through a time of great change. He is trying to finish a film that he's been shooting, ostensibly about this drama teacher and the mystery of her house in Alexandria. But also, his mother is in the hospital, and she's dying of old age. It's nothing, not a sickness, it's just the eventuality of time. Also, his girlfriend, or his ex-girlfriend, Layla, is leaving Egypt, or leaving the country, as a translator to go to another job. As well as that, he has to move out of his... He needs to move out of his apartment. So he's looking for a new apartment, and he can't find anything that either he could like and can afford. So he's having all these troubles. All of this stuff is going on in his life at the same time. And outside of him, the Egypt and Cairo specifically is going through a turbulence as well. So President Mubarak has taken over at this point in time, and there are protests against him, and he and the government are using the soccer team, the national soccer team, to sort of distract from what's going on in the national news. So you see all these sort of protests and celebrations in the street having to do with one or the other. So this is a film that I know it's not for everyone, but it is so affecting to me, dealing with sort of the eventuality of time. Each one of these situations, he can't stop and take a view of that. He doesn't have time to do that. Time marches on no matter what, and the eventuality of that makes us come to a conclusion, and all of these are coming to a head for Khalid as he goes through life, searching for that next thing, the thing that's going to make him whole. But what's really great is the filmmaking. So it's there's definitely poetics, a poetic influence. The sound and the image don't always match, particularly with the dialogue and some of the images. So you'll see a scene start, and then there's no one talking, but there is on the screen, but there's talking, there's dialogue happening on the soundtrack, and then maybe the scene will catch up in very sort of tongue and groove, where you're starting with the image, and then the sound and the rest of the image is layered on top of it. It's also very influenced by these, what people might call tone poem films, so the Kite films, where there's certainly images that are creating sort of a poetic image, a sense, and it's based on the city. So his friends, Khalid's friends, Bassem is from Beirut, Lebanon, and then both Hassan and Tariq are from Iraq, in Baghdad. Although Tariq has actually moved. He's moved out of Iraq to go to Germany. Now he's living in Berlin. So part of the film that Khalid is putting together, his friends actually send him footage from these other cities that are in conflict or have this history of conflict. And it's the relationship between these filmmakers and the cities that they live in, and how they have shaped the filmmakers and how the filmmakers have interacted with those cities as their homes, even more than the countries that they come from. It's those cities, that sort of micro environment, that really influences who these people are. And it's really a different way to look at things, and it's very affecting. So I would really like to encourage you all to go ahead and rent this film. I know it's not for everyone. It's a beautiful film, though, beautifully shot, and the sentiments are absolutely wonderful. It affects me every time I watch it, so I hope that you enjoy it, and I want to share it with you. This is streaming on Vudu and on iTunes for rental, so please go ahead and come back for another recommendation.